maybe the bit of advice is have a dad do.
Have a dad do. Yeah, I'll start looking for flights. I'll get onto Skyscanner in a minute. I'll text you.
Vegas is going to be filled with expectant fathers very soon.
Yeah, and the housing market's going to boom again because we'll all need to find new houses. Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a 30-something with a 4-year-old stepdaughter and a pregnant fiance.
And I'm Daniel. I'm a 30-something and I've had kids for a while, ranging from toddlers to teens.
Well, hello again to another episode of Ramblings of Dadmen. I'm Matt, once again joined by Dan. Daniel, how are you?
I'm all right, but that sounded rapey.
Rapey?
Well, hello.
Just call me One Take Willie or something like that. I thought that was quite good.
I would call you that. That's not your name.
How the devil are you?
I'm good. I'm nursing a sore throat. Had a very busy week. We'll get to that in a minute. This morning, with nephews played in the rugby final.
All right, yeah, of course. How did it get on?
They lost. I got a little bit too carried away with the screaming and shouting. So I've got a very sore voice, so I'm going to apologise in advance. I'm not ill. I just shouted way too much at a bunch of 12-year-old kids.
Well, been in trouble for that before.
Context, it's everything, isn't it? I mean, if you go and stand outside your house and shout at a bunch of 12-year-old kids, then you're going to get taken away. I mean, if you do it in a controlled environment, everyone's acceptable of it, and they join in as well. The fuck's that all about?
I'm not giving into it. We're moving on.
Go on. So what have you been up to?
We have had an incredibly busy week. It has been half term. It has been so busy that I was meant to be on annual leave last week, and I forgot. I've worked all week, and then on Friday afternoon, my line manager rang me up and said, "You've not took any annual leave off this week." He goes, "No, I've the bollocks." He goes, "All right. Do you know you booked it off months ago?" Why have you told me on Friday? When I've got to been off.
Because you've quit. Why else would they do that? Of course They're going to stitch you up.
Exactly, yeah.
Let's get a free week out of this fucker.
But yeah, so I was meant to be on annual leave and completely forgot. So Becky has had the whole shebang of dealing with Flossie all week.
Can we just take a minute to appreciate that is that's like standard Matt? You would literally, the saying goes that you'd forget your head if it wasn't screwed on. That is you. You are the only person I know that would ever be late to his own funeral.
And that would forget that they have a well-needed week off. And as it happens, like I've only got one more week of my job left. So as it happens, it means that I'm in a huge deficit for my annual leave. So they owe me a fortune. So every cloud, I guess. Becky and Flossie have had many trips out together this week. They've been to the Curiosity Corner in Tarleton. Flossie went with one of her friends, one of Becky's friends, and they have a little 1-year-old. So Flossie was practicing a big sister techniques, I guess, and she was really good. We went to, I don't know if you've heard of it, Windy Harbour Farm near the Welly Walk yesterday. I don't know if you've done that before. That was quite interesting for the Halloween. Taking someone that's quite heavily pregnant probably wasn't the best idea. But yeah, that was our day. And obviously we record this on a Sunday the 31st. Flossie's had her first trick-or-treating experience. She has absolutely loved it from about 6 o'clock this morning, to be honest with you.
She wasn't trick-or-treating at 6 a.m, was she?
No, but it was like Christmas because she's never done it before, and obviously COVID last year, and blah, 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 blah. She'd never been trick-or-treating before. She didn't know what to expect. So it was just like a little second Christmas to her that I get to dress up, and she dressed up as an octopus as all things. She loves being an octopus.
That's pretty cool.
She was quite shy on the first couple of the houses, but then she got her into the swing of it, apart from when she knocked on one houses and they gave her the 6-pack of Haribo, and she was like, "Well, I don't like this. Give me something else." But she's had fun. How's Georgia with trick or treating? Does she
Yeah, she's been out today. She's been a witch. Her choice. And Beck's put some makeup on her and drawn her a little wart on. And she's gone round to her estate. And the residents on our estate are really good. They all sort of go all out. They're all very friendly. And a lot of them put a lot of time and effort into dressing the houses up and all that. So, but she's so polite. She's knocking on the door and trick or treat. Thank you very much. Hope you have a happy Halloween. And all, and she's walking off. They're all like, what a polite little girl. One of the houses, though, like he's taking it to another level. He had it set up. So he's got like some speakers and all that. And he got a little bit of a camera. The guy's into AV. So like he knows his stuff. And as you sort of approach his house, there's all these flashing lights going off. And he's like, into the house. He's got a wireless microphone rigged up to some speakers. Go in the house, and the suites are at the other end of the hall. So as you walk in the hall, he's stood in one of his rooms and jumps out and scares the shit out of everyone. Like, that is Halloween done right.
Yeah. We went up to Becky's mum's and went round her area just because it's, again, it's kind of like your estate kind of thing. It's quite a large estate, but nice, for want of a better word. Yeah. Not that yours isn't nice, but compared to where we live, you know, if...
I'm just going to let you keep digging.
Yeah. No, yours is very nice. Our area is not so much the best. The best.
So if Matt's neighbours are listening, feel free to egg him.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to get to was one house, and they would built up and done an effort as well. But you have to walk through two cars. They've rigged a smoke machine under the car. So, like, as you walk past it, there was just smoke filled over it. It was really fun. And I don't know if it's whether Becky's mum lives up in Appley Bridge, which is like a part of Wigan that before I met Becky, I never actually went to. But they kind of made the effort. And I don't know whether that was because it was Appley Bridge or because I don't know. I've seen a lot more Halloween houses this year. Or is that just me? Is that...
No, I don't think it's you. And I think Christmas is probably going to be the same. I think everyone's sort of gone all out because obviously last year a lot of people didn't have this. They do with COVID, with lockdown and whatnot. Yeah. And a lot of people that we've sort of bumped into tonight walked around, and a lot of the houses we visited said something similar that, you know, I'm just glad that the kids could have it this year. And I don't think it's a trend that you're seeing it more this year. I think people have put a lot more effort in because they've seen what they missed out on last year.
Yeah. Well, it was nice to see some people out.
I've just remembered one of the people did actually try and catch Georgia out, and she had the wittiest response.
Oh, really? Did he say trick?
Yeah, he did.
What a villain. Someone did that to me when I was young, right? And I didn't know what to do. and I always remember doing it. And I must have only been about 7. I was dressed as a vampire. My mum had put a fucking bin bag on me as a cape. You know, no effort thought into it. He said trick, and I froze. I didn't know what to do. I was on my own. I didn't have, you know, it was the early 90s. You're allowed to do that. I was about 7. Nowhere near the house, and he said trick. I didn't know what to do. But,
no, so this guy, Georgia had the wittiest response to him. She went trick or treat, and he went trick. She went or treat.
I tried to catch Flossie out. I said, Flossie, do you know which is the scariest number? And she was like, what's the scariest number? And I said, well, 6 is scared of it. And she said, why? I said, because 7, 8, 9. She didn't get it. It was wasted. 7, 8, 9.
I love that joke.
Yeah.
It is good. Classic. And you're officially allowed to use it now.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, 6 months ago, actually more than 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago. Fuck, how long are you? 10 months ago. Let's go safe. Last year.
Yeah.
Last year, you'd have just been called an idiot for saying that. Now it's perfectly acceptable. Exactly. See, context.
Yeah.
So, I did take some time out last week. Basically, I only had a couple of days while the kids were off. We did some nice things.
At least you're the good man of the family. Remember to your annual leave, not like this dickhead here.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to forget. I've booked holidays. On Monday, we actually did the generic half-term thing. We went bowling. We had a Pizza Hut. It was nice. It was just a nice family day out, really. And Georgia won.
Did she win because you weren't allowed to use the ramp?
So she used the ramp all the way through, and she had sides. And me, Beck, and Callum were not allowed sides. Even the odds a little bit. I mean, she's 6. I think, she's got to either use the ramp or have sides up. Fucking, come on, she's growing up. But no, apparently she can get away with using both. No, she did well. She did really good. To be fair, she didn't even need the sides because most of them didn't even go anywhere near it. They just went straight down the middle, and she's got loads of strikes. Whereas we were all, taking a pin here and there. She did really good. Tuesday, we did something that I'd never actually heard of before. I want to know if you've ever heard of it. We went to a place called Eureka.
I have heard of it. I remember going there when I was about 7 myself. It's in Halifax, right?
Yeah.
The Children's Museum.
Yes.
That's how we pitch it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have any, I remember going, and I remember being absolutely, amazed that there was, a piano that you could play just with lasers. I assume that isn't there now, because we're talking 30 years ago. Technology is much better now. But I remember being absolutely besotted with it. And I've also remembered that I've never been there since. So,
man, it's
I can imagine.
It was a bit. I mean, it's set out in about 8 or 9 different sections, and pretty much half of it is just set up for role playing. So there's a full-on post office. There's a Halifax bank. There's houses. There's a Marks and Spencers and all that sort of stuff. And you can go and be any job there. You can go and stack the shelves. There were some kids dressed up in full-on postal outfits, and they had letters for all the different places. Like they had letters for the bank, for a car mechanics, and the guy was loading them into a bag and then walking around and going doing all that, and delivering them. It's really good for kids who want to sort of do a role play. But the other side of it, there was this whole thing, the whole section of how your body works and how tall are you, how far can you reach, all of that fun stuff. But then intricate details of how does your nose smell, how does your eyes see, how do your ears work, and things like that. And it was really good. Georgia loved it. I loved it. I learned loads. I find it interesting just sort of seeing there's skeletons, and there's a bit where you can sort of mirror the movement, you pull a lever, and as you're doing that, the skeleton's mirroring exactly how your arm moves.
Wow.
So it's genuinely really good for kids. If you get the chance to, maybe take Flossie.
I think, if memory serves me right, we were looking to go last year. The only reason why we didn't is because it was very strict to time slots and time limits. You could only be there for a certain amount of time because of the whole COVID thing. But it was still full price, and I'm pretty sure it worked out at just short of 80 quid, which, that's fine for 3 people. But just for the fact that you couldn't have the whole experience there as well, I think put us off. But now I think it's something that's definitely on the list at this point.
I don't think it was that much, genuinely. I think we're probably talking about half of that.
Oh, right, okay.
You could definitely spend a good day there, even if you sort of do half a day doing the learning bit, and then there's creative areas where you can go and draw and all that stuff, and then spend half a day letting Flossie go and role play and go and work in Marks and Spencers for an hour or whatever.
You'd spend half a week doing that. If there's a doctor's surgery there, she'd do 40 hours a week there. She'd say, right, I don't need any more learning or anything like that.
I'll play here for free.
I'll just be a doctor.
And that concludes Child Play recommendation of the week.
Should we move on to Netflix recommendations of the week?
I think we need to change this a little bit to Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Oh, yes. Well, you got a Prime as well.
Well, no, but you mentioned obviously watching Vikings, so I'm keen to hear the update on that. Before we do, I will say I don't have any recommendations this week. I apologise, but what we have done is we have finished You.
Oh, right, okay.
So we've bashed through 6 episodes. We've finished the series off. I don't want to put any spoilers out there because it's still quite new. It's okay. I see what you mean by it sort of took a bit of a It accelerated in the second half, and I can't hide the disappointment that some fucker did ruin it for me.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, I was hiding away from all spoilers, and I don't know why I did it, but somebody put one of these memes on Facebook, and I clicked on that and started reading through the comments, and then someone gave away the ending in the comments. I was like, fuck's sake. And we were on like episode 9 at that point.
I mean, looking back at it, and without getting any into spoilers, it kind of figured out that this is where it was going to go, and each season has ended in a very similar way, hasn't it? So
Yeah.
like it sounds good. I just don't see where they're going to go with it at season 4, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really talk too much about it without spoiling it for anyone who may be watching it, but I know what you mean. I am looking forward to, and I don't know if it's going to be on the Netflix or Amazon, the new series of Dexter.
Okay.
That
So
I will be watching.
Is very, very excited for this. I haven't seen one episode of Dexter.
What a wanker.
Not one. Not one episode.
Fucking Philistine. What have you been doing with your life? There's a fair bit to catch up on.
Well, it's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's only, something like 90 hours to watch. Yeah. So, I mean, if you can do that by next Sunday, then you'll be good.
Maybe that's one that I'll be catching up on along the way. Like Vikings, we've only done, I think we may have watched 3 or 4 episodes this week, so we're still quite far behind.
Where are you up to? What's happened? Wow, it was that good.
They went back to England again.
York, that one, innit? Where they land at York.
Yeah, the king wasn't too happy with them. I think the trial happened, and Big Baddie Emperor, whatever his name is, tried to blackmail Ragnar's brother.
Rollo.
Yeah. So we've only watched a couple of episodes. We have absolutely smashed Lock and Key, which was one of the recommendations that I said to you last week. First episode of this second season wasn't great. We left it for a few days, and then ever since we've been hooked on that. So we still haven't finished that. So that'll be something that will be finished by the end of the week, I imagine, end of next week.
I'm already getting badgered to watch Christmas films. Officially, when we're recording this, it's still Halloween. When this shit goes out, it might be semi-acceptable. But for now, it's fucking Halloween. Why are we thinking about Christmas? That's like having fucking Christmas stockings out in Tesco in March.
So we had to go into town today for a couple of reasons, but primarily because it's my mum's birthday tomorrow. So I need to get her something, and Mum, if you're listening, I'm not that last minute. But I just needed to get a couple of extra little bits. And people were buying Christmas trees already. And Becky was like, this is the perfect time to buy Christmas trees. And I'm like, are you joking me?
No. Becky, when you listen to this, you're wrong. The perfect time to buy a Christmas tree is the 26th of December.
I agree.
Boxing Day sales. Oh, do you want to buy a Christmas tree? Oh, fuck. Right, okay. So you won't need that for 364 days. What better time to buy one? Just stick it in your... That's what you're going to do anyway in like a day or two's time if you've got one up.
Stick it in the back, yeah.
Fucking put it up in your loft. Forget about it. And then next year you're like, we need a Christmas tree. Oh, no, we don't, love. Because last Boxing Day, I bought everything in the store for £1.
I generally have a friend that buys all his Christmas presents for the next year on Boxing Day.
Oh.
He's famous for it. So he'll go to the Boxing Day sales, finish his Christmas shopping, and then forget about it for a year.
I mean, don't ever have like any perishables off him.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
If he ever gives you an Easter egg, don't fucking eat it. It's a year out of date.
I'm never going to his for the turkey. It's stuck in the back of the freezer for 12 months.
Oh, yeah, I've had this one 3 years. Yeah. Took it out last year, had a leg, put it back in the freezer for 12 months.
That's fine. That'll keep.
Does that conclude Netflix recommendations, or have we got any more?
think that concludes Netflix recommendations. I'll start having a look. I tell you what, I have watched. I only watched one episode, but it's quite. It's probably one for you rather than a family watching. But I started watching Bad Sport, and it's just about different events where there's been foul play. Let's say like match fixing and
based on reality, or
yeah, no, it's a documentary. So like one of them was about an amazing American basketball team and a guy that got into debt, and to get out of debt he was told that he needed to win or lose a game by a certain amount of points, and every week he did it. He only did it a couple of times, but he ended up earning £40,000 from it, and for a guy that was in college, that was that was a fortune for him. The guy who gave him the £40,000 was betting on it and earned like millions. So yeah, so it's a documentary. It's something that you put on the background. It's quite interesting.
Okay. Bad Sport.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like a good documentary, you know.
Yeah, and it's one episode per. So like one episode is it's full. So the next episode it goes on to a different event. God, that took a long way around of explaining.
I was going to say, so the next episode doesn't cover only half of the episode. It covers a full episode.
Why? This might be the intro for this week. And then obviously Tiger King 2 comes out.
Yeah, why have we not mentioned that?
Like,
to be fair, right, no, so I've seen the advert, right, and I don't think that should be called Tiger King 2. I think that should be Tiger King 1.5. It's not like a different Tiger King or a guy's stepped in and gone, nah, fuck it, I'm going to be Tiger King. That guy's still not financially recovered from that shit, and he's gone, I'll just tell you some more fucking shit that we did from jail. It's just going to be like 6 episodes of him talking on a fucking recorded jail phone call.
Yeah.
But,
like, everyone's making money from me.
That bitch Carol Baskin. I can't do the accent.
I cannot explain to you how much I got into Tiger King last year. From the first episode, I was like, what the actual fuck? Like, what is this? These people are real. Becky only watched one episode and couldn't get into it. She said she's never going to watch it again. I'm like, oh, so disappointed.
I watched all of Tiger King on my own. And then I said to Beck, I was like, I think she was watching something else and then saw bits and pieces of it in the background.
Right.
And was like, yeah, what is that? I'm like, I don't know if you like it, but just watch it. And she persevered through the first episode. The persevered through it, she was like, same. She's like, don't get it. Shit. Don't get why it's so good. I was like, just keep watching it. Before you knew, she'd watched 5 episodes. It was like, should we put another one on?
Literally car crash TV, I guess, isn't it?
It's so good. It shouldn't be good, but it is.
Do we have to talk about the inevitable? Podmin.
I mean, I feel like we have a good week and then we have a bad week, and then this week I'm an absolute knobhead. To be fair, you got Podmined live on last episode.
I know, yeah. So yeah, thank you everybody that listened to our special guests last week, and me getting an absolute ram raiding for better words,
which was fun. But yeah, no, this week I got called #knobhead for, and I quote, using an outright lie.
Oh dear, what did you lie about?
So, to be fair to me, they do change the names. And Beck has actually said some places use different names for different sizes. But last week, I basically said that Georgia didn't fit in anything other than 0 to 3 months because I made her out to be this absolute monster of a baby, and she wasn't. So basically, just to clarify, Georgia did fit in the first size baby clothes and newborn baby clothes, which I said she didn't fit in. And this is where I got confused. We never bought any of the tiny baby size.
Right.
And admittedly, the first size did fit her for a very short period of time, and then she had to move up a bit. But I've made Georgia out to be this absolute unit, and she really wasn't. So I had to take that one as Podmin of the Week. Podmin of the Week.
At least you've got one. I've got three.
Yeah, okay, hold on, let me get some popcorn.
So
the best part of this is that you got Podmined live on air and you still got three more.
I know. Well, one of them was just the top one is I just need to get over the fact that she was right last week. I mean, she says that I just need to stop being a moaning myrtle about it. And then she does say that she apologises to everyone for shouting on a podcast, and she promises she is not that aggressive.
I mean, technically, that's Becky's Podmin.
Yeah. So the giant scarf to put the baby in, which I mentioned last week, is called a stretchy wrap or a sling.
What's it called again?
It's called a stretchy wrap
Okay.
or a sling. And again, the second bit of the podmin, or the third bit of the podmin, whichever one you count, is a sonographer. So the person that does the scan is called a sonographer. I've had this drilled into my head all week. Stop calling her a woman. But she is a woman. She's a woman that comes to do it. She's the one that we always keep saying. No, she's a sonographer. I mean, so I apologise to any sonographers out there that may have thought I was being offensive in any way. I couldn't remember what you were called. Now I will never forget. Well,
what are male sonographers called? Dr. Lanugo?
Dr. Lanugo.
I'd be made up if Dr. Lanugo turns up at your house to deliver the baby. That would be epic.
Well, that brings us into something, actually. It's something that I've been a bit hesitant to talk about this week, but I thought this podcast is here to discuss fears and the reality of parenthood. So Becky today is 35 weeks and the size of a honeydew melon.
Ooh.
Honeydew melon, is that right? Is that what she's meant to be? Anyway, it doesn't matter because she's not. So Becky had 34-week midwife appointment last Wednesday, and we discussed her home birth plans, and it was a really nice appointment, and we had things set in plans, and the whole plan was in 2 weeks' time we can start doing the birthing plan. The midwife measured the bump, which should be around plus 1 centimetre for each week. So at 34 weeks, it should be around 34 centimetres. And this time it was actually measuring at 31 centimetres, which was the same as the last appointment. The midwife said it's usually nothing to worry about, but we'll have to go for a growth scan. And that was done the next day. The midwife said there's usually nothing to worry about. Becky said, I'm not worried. Don't worry about it. I'll take Flossie. I had interviews booked for the day, so I didn't even go. And she was like, just go. We'll fine. Everything should be okay. At the 20-week scan, she was the 37th centile. And then that dropped down to 20th. And then that dropped down to the 17th for the last scan. And now it showed up that she is the 3rd centile. So they were worried that she's quite small.
Mate, you better get them cheese fucking sandwiches out.
Well, this is what I've been doing all week, to be honest with you. They did a lot of checks, and actually they were like, everything looks good. The heartbeat's normal. She's getting enough food from the what's the organ that the women grow? Placenta. Yeah, I couldn't remember. She's getting enough nutrients from the placenta. She looks normal. She's just quite tall and quite small. And there is a little bit of margin of error. And for anyone that doesn't know what centile means, for every 100 of babies, 97 babies will be bigger. So she's very much the smaller side, which looking at me, I'm not the biggest chap in the world. So,
I mean, to be fair, if Becky's hearing that, I'm pretty sure she'd be rubbing her fucking hands together. You think I'm going to have a 97% better birthing experience?
Well, they said that there's no reason for us to panic. There's nothing alarming that's coming on, just that the baby's small. However, they need to monitor this, and there is a chance that they will induce Becky at 37 weeks, which means that the home birth is out of the question. But it also means that in 2 weeks we can have a little baby. So, there is a bit of worry and anxiety. It's like, why do they want to reduce this? Is it just because she's small or something like that? Is there something that could be wrong with her? But at the minute, we've got to stay positive, and the doctor said this is quite common. Having said that, I have toughened up on the eating. Big Bird has been out to play. Big Bird has been out to play. On the way back, she was like, don't worry, I'll tell you everything about it. There's nothing to worry about. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, on your way home, go get a cheeseburger. So she had a cheeseburger. Then we had a massive Nando's that night. Like, she was having a snack at the night time. This morning, I made her 3 massive pancakes filled with chocolate and banana, as well as her having breakfast and the cheese toastie and the massive pizza. So,
jokes aside, 37 weeks is full term. I know that being induced is a scary thing, and obviously being monitored is a scary thing. But just for podcast aside, all jokes aside, that's full term. That's a normal baby. So even if she has to be induced, it's nothing to worry about. And I know Becky said that to you already. For me, she would never come out at that point and be called prem or whatever. That's full term. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Don't be too concerned.
The worry is the doctor said that, she's small and this could mean that there's something wrong with her. And like nothing is suggesting that anyway. She was drinking fluids. She even on the scan apparently the midwife noticed that she did a little wee in Becky, and she pointed that out, and Flossie was there, and Flossie was like, "Mummy, what happens with that wee now? That's inside you." Yeah, well, Mummy's got to go do a baby wee as well.
So I've not got time for that conversation.
Yeah, the conversation that comes out now is that the whole point of having the home birth is because Becky didn't want to be in hospital for 4 or 5 days, and with an induction, the chances are that that's highly likely to happen when it's 48 hours for anything to start moving. So the other question is, does she go for a C-section? And these are not difficult conversations, but these are conversations that we're going to have over the next couple of weeks.
Again, Dominic, you can't just have a plan for each one. I suppose the silver lining, if she does have to be induced and she's got a date that she's got to go in for, that's exactly what she wanted from the whole. But in a sense of she's got control over when baby comes. That's the variable, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't know when she's going to come. How are you going to plan for Flossie? If you know a date of when she's got to go in and it's all controlled, you can make proper solid plans for Flossie, and that's all controlled. So that removes a variable there that's potentially causing a little bit of stress. Silver lining.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be the name of this week's fucking episode, Silver Lining.
Silver lining. Yeah. I'm probably a little bit more worried because, 1, that's my personality, but 2, I wasn't at the appointment as well, so I'm only getting second-hand information. Becky's not worried about her at all. She's still moving. We'll just see. She's just probably a little short house like me.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So, yeah, good thing.
On the topic of melons, so last week I set you a task.
You did set me a task, and I will have to be completely honest. I failed miserably at said task.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an out. I'm going to give you 2 options.
Go on.
So option A is you can double up and make it twins for a day.
Okay.
Or you can do a forfeit.
What's the forfeit?
I don't know. I've not decided yet. I might put that out on Instagram. We may put your fate in the hands of our followers and listeners.
All right. Okay. I mean, I'd just like to point out that I didn't intentionally not do it. I wasn't trying to get out of it. The whole thing with a scan and just being busy at this week is. I'd just like to point out that I forgot that I was on annual leave this week.
I'm disappointed that you've not taken the opportunity to turn up to a job interview with a melon strapped to your stomach. What a way to introduce yourself and make you stand out.
Oh no, I was interviewing clients.
Even better.
So that would have been amazing.
I want to work with a weirdo that straps fruit to his stomach for a living. Well, we'll let you have a think about it.
I am happy to see what the forfeit is. Bearing in mind that there's every chance that I will have a fully fledged baby. Strapping me to a Eurostar and drinking 40 shots isn't going to happen. You know what I mean?
Well,
But I will do a sensible forfeit.
I mean, the whole idea of a forfeit is you don't get to choose.
Well, yeah.
I'm not going to accept a forfeit from the followers that says you've got to go to Amsterdam for a month. Actually, I'll put a layer of common sense in there, but it's not going to be pretty. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
We'll see what they come up with.
Well, to talk on happier things, here is a topic which you may be interested in. You've heard of stag do's, you've heard of bachelor parties, but how about a dad chiller party or a dad do? These are things now, apparently.
All right, okay. Is it in Vegas?
No.
I'm not bothered then. I don't care. It's not happening.
So you've met my partner, right? Do you think she would allow us to go to Vegas?
Like, if we go this Friday, then yeah, we could be back for Sunday. Oh, even better. Let's record an episode in Vegas.
I'd have to live. I'd have to ever go. I would, wouldn't I?
You wouldn't be allowed back.
Have you ever heard of them before? Have you ever heard of it? I mean, I've not. Have you heard of it?
No.
Party?
No, but this sounds like an invention that me and you would come up with. Some absolute utter bollocks that has no place in the world and that every mother would hate, but sounds like the perfect idea.
Yeah. I mean, when do you have the dad do? I mean, famously, a stag do is pretty close to the wedding. Could you imagine fucking off to Newcastle 2 days before labour? Like,
okay, Becky, so you're scheduled in for a cesarean on the 15th. From the 12th to the 14th, I will be in south of Wales and then moving up to Newcastle for the day. I'll return on the 15th, half cut and with half a head of hair and one eyebrow.
But it's all right. We check out at 10:30, so just make sure that it's about 1 o'clock. And we'll be there. It'll be fine. Well, I think that's probably a good time to end it. I'm sorry that we've not really done much advice. It's more me just having a bit of a vent, to be honest, and to relieve some anxieties more than anything. But I hope you got something from it.
Hey, you never know. Maybe the bit of advice is have a dad do.
Have a dad do. Yeah, I'll start looking for flights. Like, I'll get onto Skyscanner in a minute. I'll text you.
Vegas is going to be filled with expectant fathers very soon.
Yeah, and the housing market's going to boom again because we'll all need to find houses. But,
bachelor pads everywhere.
Yeah. And on that note, I shall see you next week.
See you next week, everyone.